Hello, boys and girls. I'm Greg from the Scary Spirits Podcast. Today, I'm going to show you how to make the Bloody Sunrise cocktail, which is the featured cocktail in today's episode. Alright, we're going to start with a Collins glass with ice. To that, we're going to add 1.5 ounces tequila. Our first tequila drink. We're going to add 3 ounces orange juice. Whatever. Then, to that, we're going to add 1/2 ounce grenadine. But we're going to pour it around the edges. Like it's bloody. Yeah, so there you go. A bloody sunrise. Basically a tequila sunrise with the grenadine along the edge. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the episode. See ya. Bye.
No one really knows when they might take their last breath. And if you're a vampire and you've been around for a couple 100 years, hiding out in Mexico, you're probably not fixated on how you might perish. Could it be a stake to the heart, a well-timed strike with a sharp glistening knife that removes your head? Or maybe, just maybe, if you're one for a more dramatic exit, might it involve a disco ball and some sunlight? Who knows? Well, we do. And you will, if you listen to this week's episode of the Scary Spirits Podcast, number 28, From Dusk Till Dawn. It really is a fantastic scene. Cheers.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So if you're ready, let's go. Hi, I'm Greg.
Hey, I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
I'm okay.
Good.
How was your Halloween, Karen?
Fabulous.
Did you get lots of trick-or-treaters? I imagine you probably don't.
No, we don't get any.
No. Yeah.
No. That long driveway is not worth anything I could give away. What's your average?
About 100.
Greg gives away full-size candy bars. If anyone wants to bring their kids trick-or-treating, go by Greg's
Next year.
house. True. Next year. Plan ahead.
No, but I'm thinking of retiring, so I'll probably still give out candy though, regardless.
Yeah, you don't want Sam to visit your house for breaking a tradition. That would be bad.
No, I do not. I imagine I would always give out candy. Even if I was in your situation, I would be sitting on my front porch with a bowl of full-size candy bars, just in case.
We have kids did move in front of us, so if they didn't come, but they could. I think they go to a different neighborhood to maximize their efforts.
Yeah. Do you think they go to those stupid trunk or treat things?
I don't know. They have spider webs all over their bushes
Okay,
and
well,
everything.
that's
so,
a good sign. That's a good
yeah.
sign. Good sign. All right, Karen. Any corrections?
I don't
Anything
think
we
you should.
forgot?
I don't think you should ask that anymore. I think we should just bring it up because neither one of us knows the answer to that.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm sure we do, and if anyone notices any, they can certainly email us. If there are any mistakes, email Greg at scaryspirits.com. But if you want to praise us, you can email me at Karen at scaryspirits.com.
Yes. Please do.
Actually, Greg edits it all. It makes me sound like I don't have errors. So really, you can email him and tell him how awesome it is too. So that's the long way of saying, I don't know if we have any errors, but I hope not.
Okay. Probably not.
Probably.
I don't know. So I believe, Karen, this was my choice, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So today I have chosen the 1996 Quentin Tarantino film, Karen, From Dusk Till Dawn.
So why did you pick this?
Because vampires are cool.
Well, yeah.
I think that's why. I think that's the only reason.
Oh, there's no birthday.
Oh, yep, it is. It's actually Tom Savini's birthday. He's usually a makeup or special effects artist. He actually acts in this film. Kinda.
So I was surprised that Quentin Tarantino didn't direct this. I thought he did.
Didn't he?
I don't think so. I thought that's why he acted in it. He chose to act in it over direct it.
He wrote the screenplay.
Right.
It was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
See, you thought he directed it too, right?
Well, the poster says from Robert Rodriguez, and then it says from Quentin Tarantino. So both of them. I know they both had a major stake in the film, but I guess I didn't know actually who directed it. It makes sense that he, probably didn't direct it since he was in it. I think this was his first screenplay.
I haven't seen a lot of his movies. Is he like Hitchcock? Does he show up in his films? Does he?
I don't know, but he, pretty much every Tarantino film I've seen, he is in it, I think.
At some point, he's in it.
And he also has, as I learned from the X-ray and the Amazon Prime Video, he has little signature things that are in a lot of his movies. So I didn't really know.
Do tell when they come up.
Well, I will. I made notes.
Excellent.
Yeah, this was his first paid writing assignment.
Wow. Okay.
Tarantino. But it sounds like it took a while for it to come to film after he wrote it. They thought about.
I was going to say, if it's his first
one,
if it's his first one, it's hard to know what did you say he had that you learned in X-ray?
Oh, his
idiosyncrasies or something. It's hard to see those in the first film unless you compare them to the other films.
Yes.
But they still apply, I'm sure.
Yeah, he has his trademarks.
Yes. Okay.
We also have a cocktail, Karen.
Excellent. What would that be?
That would be the Bloody Sunrise.
Appropriate.
Yes. Even more so after watching it, I think.
Have you not seen it?
I have.
Okay.
But I didn't even put it together that the drink I picked is using tequila, and it's kind of a
I gotcha.
Mexican kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are trying to get to Mexico. Yeah.
So basically, a Bloody Sunrise, you're going to need 1.5 ounces of tequila. This is our first tequila drink, Karen.
Is it?
It is. And we're going to need 3 ounces of orange juice and 1/2 ounce of grenadine.
And then what do you do?
In a Collins glass, Karen, you combine the tequila and the orange juice with ice. And then you kind of pour the grenadine over the rim so it kind of oozes down. But, it's not really thick. So
it does ooze pretty quickly.
It does ooze pretty quickly, but then it sinks to the bottom. It's basically a tequila sunrise with the grenadine oozed on the top.
It's a pretty show as it sinks down. It does look like a sunrise.
Yeah, it does. Should we give our listener time to make their own?
Of course.
Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen, might you have a brief synopsis? Because I certainly do not of this film.
I do. Well, the
Please.
Amazon one is
Very brief.
incredible, so I'm going to read it just because I enjoy it so much. So from Dusk Till Dawn, 1996. You ready?
Yes.
A swarm of vampires attack in the night, which
go on.
No, which just cracks me up because it kind of gives it all away, right?
But it's not even really accurate, is it?
Well, it's accurate.
I mean, they kind of do, but there's so much more to the film than just
right.
that.
Somebody didn't like their job when they had to do that one. I don't know. They certainly weren't getting paid by the word. Okay, you want a real one?
Yes, please.
The Gecko Brothers, two dangerous outlaws on a wild crime spree, kidnap a father and his two kids and head south to a seedy Mexican bar to hide out in safety. Soon they realize that they're not in a typical bar, as the entire place begins to teem with vicious, blood-sucking vampires. With the odds stacked greatly against them, the geckos are forced to team up with their hostages in order to make it out alive.
All right, Karen, are you ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's.
I've got my Oktoberfest beer, my water, and my Bloody Sunrise, so I'm ready.
Sounds like an interesting mix.
Yeah, we'll see. From Dusk Till Dawn, Karen, from 1996. Do you remember 1996, Karen?
I do.
I vaguely do.
It was okay.
That's all right. So we start on a desert road. We see a car, which looked to me like a cop car because it had like the headlights on the rear view mirrors. So I kind of knew it was a cop car. Did you catch that, Karen?
I didn't know it was a cop car until the cop got out of it.
Yeah, so he gets out, and apparently it's a Texas Ranger, I would say. And
yeah, it looks like it.
He goes into like a convenience store of some sort.
It's the world of liquor. If you can't find it, they don't have it.
And there's lots of cursing. I wrote.
By the cop?
But by all of them. Everyone in this film curses a lot.
Well, his name is Earl.
Okay.
He grabs a beer, cold beer.
And he asks for a bottle of Jack as well. Apparently it's been a hell of a day. And this is where we learn that there's been a bank robbery in Aberdeen. Apparently they killed cops and civilians and they got a hostage and they're heading this guy's way, right?
Yeah, so Earl's the cop and he's talking to Pete, the cashier. And he's explaining all that. Yeah, that there's been a bank robbery. They have a hostage and they're heading towards him. He's telling the cashier all about
and there's going to be payback. He says,
it's going to be personal.
Him. Yeah. I guess I killed like 3 cops or something. But anyway, so Earl, is that his name, Earl?
Yes.
He asks if he can use the bathroom. And just then, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino come out of their hiding with two hostages.
He went to use the bathroom. So the cop's in the bathroom. Yeah.
He did. And George Clooney comes out with Quentin Tarantino. And I actually call him Richie, I think, the rest of the movie. Quentin.
Okay, you'll have to correct me then. But
George, I call George the whole time. But
they threaten Pete.
Seth and Richie, the Gecko Brothers, just like you said in the synopsis. But it's Seth and Richie. And Richie's a little paranoid.
Yeah, a little.
I think he sees things that are not really happening.
He's a little off his rocker, little twitchy.
Yeah, he thinks everything that the guy does is a sign to the cop to warn him. He scratched his nose or he scratched or something, right?
Yeah, he thinks Pete's sending signals to the cop.
Yeah, he's a nut.
So the cop comes out of the bathroom and he wants to pay for the Jack.
And Richie jumps out, who's Quentin Tarantino, and kills the cop, shoots him right in the back of the head, and then shoots the store clerk. But doesn't kill him.
Made me jump. That really made me jump. The violence level is...
This is a very violent movie.
Yes, extremely violent movie.
It's not very graphic, but it's violent. You know what I mean?
But he just shot and his head explodes onto the cashier and then he shoots the cashier and...
Blood splatters onto the cashier.
It's enough.
It's pretty graphic for 1996, I guess.
There's just a shootout now.
Yep. And the clerk pulls a gun from the safe and a gunfight ensues, I wrote.
And the 2 hostages escape.
Yes,
Just
the two girls. We don't know where they came from or whatever, but they get away. So then George tells Richie, Quentin, to shoot the bottles from behind the clerk. George grabs some toilet paper and a lighter and lights it. And
I think he poured something on it too, but I don't know what.
Lighter fluid, Ronson lighter fluid for your Zippo. And he throws the flaming toilet paper roll, and the clerk catches on fire because he's covered in whiskey. And
he firebombs Pete.
I
just want to say
flammable whiskey.
Yes.
Because I couldn't get that shit to light when I needed to, but apparently they have some high proof alcohol back there.
I just want to say Pete gets a raw deal. This cashier was doing everything he was supposed to do.
He did.
Everything they told him to do, and they killed him anyway. Is this just to show that Quentin's off his rocker?
Yeah, I think because
I felt bad for Pete.
And he was telling him, he was like, no, I didn't do that. You're crazy.
He was all the way till the end saying he didn't do it.
Yeah.
He did not.
Even after the first gunfight, he was still arguing with him. And George and Richie.
Well, wait, did you see him fall into the pile of popcorn?
No, I don't remember that.
Pete's on fire. He's burning alive because he's been firebombed, and he falls into the popcorn display. And the popcorn starts popping.
Cool.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
George and Richie walk out, and as they're walking back to their car, things are blowing up, and basically the place blows up.
Yeah, and they're arguing about the meaning of low profile.
And then we have credits, Karen. And then they get in their car, Karen, which I made a note. That looks like a Mercury Cougar.
Well, it says it's a Cougar. It says it on the mud flap.
Does it?
Yeah, even I knew it was a Cougar.
Okay. Do you know what kind of Cougar it is, Karen?
No. I don't know what year it is. I don't know anything about it.
That would be your basic 1968 Mercury Cougar RX-7.
Nice.
Yes. Might you
probably,
know?
I was going to say probably worth about what, Greg?
I don't know, Karen. What do you think? What do you think that one of those is worth today? Let's say the high end, because you always go high. Like
it's kind of a muscle car, right?
Do you
think?
Okay. Yeah, it's Mercury and Ford. It's the same, kind of.
I didn't like it.
Right?
It's fine, but
it's the Mercury kind of Mustang kind of muscle car.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what year was it? Because let me get
1968.
Let me get my calculations done properly here.
RX-7.
Oh, not the RX-6.
No, an RX-7.
Okay. I'm going to say.
We're going high end?
Yeah.
Okay. High end right now.
25,000.
High end, $56,500.
Oh.
According to NADA.
NADA, what's that? National Automobile
Dealers Association.
Dealer something. Okay. That's close.
56,500 on the high end. So that's a really nice one. Do you know what that car went for? The MSRP in 1968, Karen?
$3,000.
I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that one.
How much was it?
According to the National Automotive Dealers Association, it was $3,081. So you were only $81 off.
I might win it. I might win it. Price is Right with that one.
Yeah, you didn't go over. That was pretty good.
Climbing back in.
So as they're driving away, we see that Richie has a hole in his hand where I guess the clerk shot him.
Yeah, the clerk did shoot him.
And he can look right through it. That was kind of funny. And he uses duct tape to tape it up.
Yeah, he's duct taping his hand. George is driving, popping pills and drinking whiskey, which I would think Quentin would be doing with a hole in his hand, but whatever.
Well, there's Claritins or probably something like that.
Claritins? Those are for allergies.
I know. He probably has allergies. I don't know. Just saying.
Oh, you mean, all right. And they do show us the bank teller in the trunk.
Yes.
Kind of in a cartoon-like way. It was weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of see through the trunk and see the bank teller in there tied up. So George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino get a room at a motel, the Dewdrop Motel, I think it's called. And we learned that their plan, I guess George is telling Quentin the plan is they're going to go to Delray, Mexico, and give 30% of what they got in the bank robbery to Carlos, and they can stay there as long as they want.
Yeah, and Quentin's trying to say we should renegotiate, and
Yes.
George is like, just shut up and let's just get to the sanctuary.
Then George gives the hostage, the bank teller, his word that if she doesn't mess with them, she will get out of this alive.
Her name is Gloria, and he gives her the rules, basically.
Yes.
And if she follows the rules, he's going to let her go.
And he curses a lot.
But, he seems sincere that if she does these things, like be quiet, don't run, typical hostage stuff, then he's going to let her go.
Yep. Don't ask questions.
Yeah. Then he leaves.
He says he's going to go get the money. That's what he says. Don't know where the money is. Why they don't have the money with him.
Well, it's in the attaché case.
In the car?
Yeah. And then he brings it back in.
But he leaves.
But that's later. Oh, he does leave.
He does leave. Yeah.
He leaves. He leaves Quentin and Gloria to watch TV together on the bed.
Yes. Next scene, we meet Harvey Keitel, whose character's name's Jacob, and his kids at a truck stop diner.
Yeah, they seem like a nice family.
And one of his kids is wearing a Precinct 13 shirt, which is a reference to John Carpenter's Escape from Precinct 13, I believe is what it's called. And Karen, the producer of the film, is in the first booth behind them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as the waitress walks by, the first guy she passes sitting in the booth by himself, that's the producer of the film. So we learn that Harvey, or Jacob, I call him Harvey. I keep calling him Harvey the whole time, so whatever.
I just call him Dad.
Harvey's a preacher who has lost his faith, Karen.
Yeah, he says he doesn't believe in God enough to be a pastor. So he's with his two kids, a daughter and a son.
Yes.
The son
Scott
possibly is adopted. He's
Chinese.
Yeah. So, although that would be rare because usually only the daughters are adopted, but
Scott and Katie.
Yeah. So Scott gets up to use the restroom and Katie asks her dad if he believes in God anymore.
And there's more F-bombs. I made a note.
Yeah. This is where we find out he still believes, but not enough to be a pastor.
And Katie asks, what do you think Mom would think? What would Mom say? And he says, Mom wouldn't say anything. She's dead.
Right. So apparently Mom has passed on.
Then we cut back to, I guess, the motel.
Well, you want to talk about the news reporter?
The TV. That's what I'm going to talk about right now.
Yeah,
the TV in the motel. They're watching the TV. And it's Kelly Preston telling the story with a smile, I wrote.
She looks way too happy to be reporting. And there's a death toll count, and they just changed the numbers, kind of like a telethon. And now we've got this many dead Rangers and this many dead cops and this many dead civilians. She's very happy to report it.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Don Henley song, Dirty Laundry.
That would work.
They can tell you about the plane crash with the gleam in their eye or whatever, And we see John Saxon as the FBI agent. But we never see him again, oddly. But there he is.
Oh, is that the makeup guy?
No, that's the actor playing John Saxon.
I don't know who that is.
John Saxon?
No.
You would know him if you saw him.
I did see him.
Well, I know, but he was in lots of stuff.
Okay.
He was in Nightmare on Elm Street, right? He was the dad in Nightmare on Elm Street, right? The cop dad.
Oh, is he always a cop?
Pretty much.
He looks like a cop.
Sometimes he's like a evil bionic person in $6 Million Man and things like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, he tells the reporter it's personal now.
Yes. So next, George Clooney comes back with a big kahuna burger for him. And
looked pretty good to me.
Apparently that's a Tarantino trademark as well.
A burger?
The big kahuna burger.
Oh.
Apparently lots of his films involve a fast food place called Big Kahuna. So George comes in with the burger and he wants to know where's the hostage. And Richie says in there. Right.
Yeah, when we last left Gloria, she was sitting on the bed with Quentin Tarantino watching.
With her shoes off.
Yes. Watching.
Which is another thing.
TV. They were watching TV together. And when he came back, what had happened?
She gone.
Yep. Gloria also got a raw deal. I'm just going to say.
Well, apparently Richie rapes her and kills her. And George is not happy about it.
He's mad.
Yeah, he's very upset. Next, we see Harvey and his kids, and they're stopping at the Dewdrop Motel as well to get a room.
And we should say they're driving, I call it a Winnebago. What is it?
It's an RV.
An RV.
Yeah.
So the kids are kind of making fun of him because he has obviously been telling them they won't need to stop for anything. They're self-contained because they're in an RV. So the fact that they're stopping is a big deal.
And that's a reference from, I guess it's Race with the Devil. I remember it being on TV, but apparently they use that same line, and it's kind of an homage to that when he says that.
Harvey wants to sleep in an actual bed, and they stop at the Dewdrop Motel, which is not a nice place. Dad says it's basic, but it's a flop house, like the daughter says.
But she wants a pool.
She does.
And apparently there is one.
Yeah, I agree.
We see her in a bikini very shortly, unless she's just walking around in a bikini.
No, she was wet too, so she was swimming. So when they pull in, they almost hit George.
Yes.
But then they say he's creepy, but they still get a room.
Yep. And then pretty soon there's a knock at their door.
Poor Dad just laid down on the bed.
Yep. It's Richie or Quentin. He wants to borrow an ice bucket.
Well, he pretends to want to borrow an ice bucket.
Yeah. And then they pull guns, and here comes George. And so they got 2 hostages. And I made a note, there's lots of racial remarks in this scene.
Yeah. So they come in and they're threatening the dad and his son.
Yes. And this is where we learn he's actually Chinese, not Japanese. Then Kate comes in right in her bikini. And
yeah, right as all this is going on, she just comes back from the pool.
Yep. So they take her hostage too. And
Quentin's a bit taken with her.
Yes. And George knows he is.
I think everyone in the room knows he is.
Yeah. So tells her to go get clothes on, go to the bathroom, get dressed. You got 3 minutes.
What's happening is they want to take the family in the RV to travel because they've been watching TV and everybody's coming for them. Cops, FBI, everyone. It's big dragnet. And they think they're going to catch him within 48 hours.
48 hours, right.
Yeah. So they're looking for a way out where they won't be discovered. And George, who's smart, thinks they can go in the RV. And the dad, Harvey Keitel, says, just take me. Don't take the kids, as any parent would, but that's not what they do. Nope. They take them all.
They do. So they get next day, I guess they're in the RV heading to Mexico. Harvey and George are having a chat as Harvey's driving, and George is looking through his wallet, I guess, and finds a picture of Harvey and his wife. And Harvey tells him how his wife died in a car accident. And, just one of those things, right?
Sad.
And then George sees that he has like a minister card or something. I don't know what they are.
You mean you don't have one?
No, a card that shows he's an ordained minister or whatever.
Yeah. Harvey tells George he was a preacher, but he'd taken a break.
Because George asks, hey, is this for real? Or are you just trying to rip off the IRS?
Yeah. Yeah. Were you ordained online, or is this a real deal? And he says it's real. So George tells them they just have to get to Mexico, spend the night, and then he'll let them go.
He'll let them go. Gives his word again.
Yep. Which we know is fantastic.
And next we see Kate's bare feet, because that's another Quentin Tarantino trademark. He has a barefoot fetish.
Okay.
Which is why he asked the woman to take her shoes off, even though he had his shoes on apparently in the bed. And it comes into play later again too, bare feet. So anyway, they get to the border.
There is one place where Harvey says if Quentin touches his daughter, he will kill him. And George says, fair enough, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah. Okay. Take him out.
Yeah. Because I think he says, you saw the way Richie was looking at your daughter, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you didn't like it, did you? He said, nope. So they get to the border.
Tons of cops.
Yeah. And Scott, the son, wants his dad to tell him what's going on. But Harvey says, nope, we're going to play this my way. And then Cheech Marin comes up. the border cop, Cheech Marin. Karen.
Yeah. The first time we see him.
Yes. Cheech has multiple roles in this film.
So the brothers hide in the bathroom with Kate.
Yes.
And Harvey says, I'm running the show to his son. And you're not sure if the son's going to squeal. You can't really tell as the audience member. You don't know. Is he going to tell or not tell? And then the reason that Cheech is, he walks up and Harvey says, it's just me and my son. And then there's George and Quentin are fighting in the bathroom because Quentin's a dumbass, basically.
And George ends up knocking him out.
Right. And then they hear that commotion. And then the dad says, oh, I mean, my daughter's with us too.
Yeah, she's in the bathroom. I meant to say me, my son, and my daughter. And this is when Cheech says, I'm going to come aboard.
Right. Which you would, because he didn't make any sense.
Yep. So Cheech goes in there, knocks on the sliding curtain of the bathroom, and he opens it. And there we see Kate on the toilet, right? With her pants around her ankles.
She's sitting on the toilet. Yes.
And so Cheech says, oh, okay, oh, sorry. But he does like keep looking as he's closing the curtain.
Which is just gross, but whatever.
So they make it into Mexico, Karen. Hooray.
Yeah, they crossed the border. Well, we should say that Quentin and George are hiding in the shower. So yes. George has knocked Quentin out. So he's holding him up and they're hiding, pointing a gun at Katie, but
when Cheech opens the door. Yeah.
Right. So she won't say anything. And he just closes it because all he sees is a girl in the bathroom.
So next, George gives Harvey directions to the bar,
which is out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
Which works well for them.
Yes. The Titty Twister Bar, I believe it's called.
That's what it's called.
So then they arrive at the bar.
You can't miss this place. I mean, it's neon and flames, and it just seems to appear in the middle of the desert. I don't.
Right. And Cheech is outside in his second role, playing the carnival barker, getting people to come in and look at the naked ladies.
Which is weird. I mean, it's fun. It's supposed to be funny, I think. Yeah. But why else would you have stopped there? I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. There is nothing else around it. So if you've stopped, you're already going to go in. I guess he's talking about the wares. He's trying to upsell you, shall we say, with different types of female genitalia.
Yes.
He has all different. So I guess he's trying to.
He's got all the kinds.
Yeah. So if you're coming in there, then you need to not just drink, you need to purchase some of the items on display, shall we say.
Yes. So apparently the bar closes at dawn, and Carlos, who's their contact for this Del Rey place, is going to come meet them there sometimes before it closes. So sometime before dawn. And then I may note there's more foul language. There's foul language throughout this whole film. No one can say a sentence without dropping an F-bomb or some other foul word, right? I don't think.
I guess I didn't make a note of it. I guess I just expect it.
It is a lot. But anyway, so Cheech stops George as they are going to go in. I guess he's kind of the bouncer guy, whatever. I don't know.
Well, George is making everybody go in and have drinks with him.
Yes.
Because he's in a good mood. They've made it to Mexico. So everyone, the kids, the pastor, his brother, everybody's going in for drinks because he's not going to drink alone.
And Cheech stops George, but
tries to.
Yeah, George beats up Cheech.
Pretty much.
Breaks his hand, and then Quentin comes back out and kicks him a few times just for good measure. So they go into the bar, Karen.
They run into a little trouble.
By my count, Karen, we see 12 bare breasts.
You're going to have to get out a calculator for this
12.
one.
I think there were 12. I counted 12. And we see more later, but I think they're just repeats, so I didn't count them. So 12 bare breasts.
Okay.
From the girls dancing. Go-go dancing, right?
Sort of, yeah. They're more just writhing, I think.
They're dancing. So then I wrote Danny tries to throw him out of the bar because it's Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he plays a good bad guy.
His character is Razor Charlie, but Danny Trejo, he's the bartender. Tries to throw them out of the bar because, he tells George he can't drink there because that place is for bikers or truck drivers only, and he is obviously neither of those.
It's VIP bar, like a members only bar or something, he says.
Yeah, something weird. But Harvey convinces them that because he's driving an RV and he has like the proper license,
Right, to drive the RV, you have to
that
be
he's a truck driver. Yeah. So he counts and these are his friends. So they say, okay. And then we hear Stevie Ray Vaughan, Mary Had a Little Lamb.
I did like the music in this.
I made a note. It's a good soundtrack later.
Yeah.
We heard Jimmy Vaughn. This is Stevie Ray Vaughan.
ZZ Top, I know.
We hear them later. And this is where we meet Tom Savini, whose character's name is Sex Machine.
Oh, is that who he is? Okay.
Yes.
Well, the pastor saves the day. They get the whiskey with 5 glasses and they ask for a waitress to be sent over. And then I just wrote down, this is a rough bar, man. There's just chaos everywhere. But yeah, we meet Sex Machine with his dick gun. Isn't that what it's called?
That's what I would call it, Karen, but I wouldn't have. I'm glad you said it and I didn't. So, yes.
Oh, sorry. Are you too delicate to say it?
He has a cod piece that.
Oh, okay. A cod
flips
piece.
open.
My bad.
A barrel comes out and he's got 2 6-round cylinders that look like balls, right? Kind of.
I call it as I see it.
Yes, it is. So next, Kate and Scott. Yeah, they slam drinks with George.
George makes the kids drink, basically.
He makes them.
He kind of does. He makes
Scott
them all
first
drink.
says no, he doesn't want any, and Harvey doesn't want any, but Kate says, sure, I'll try one. And then when George says, you want another? Yes, please.
Even though you can tell it burned all the way down.
Yes, but she wants another. Yes, please. I would like another.
She's very polite. And then Scott drinks one.
Yes. And Harvey tries to convince George that he has won, right?
Well, because George wants to go beat up the guy. Who did he want to? He wanted to go beat up someone.
Oh, the guy that grabbed him when they said he wasn't allowed to drink there.
Right. He says he wants to go smash the bottle over his head. And Harvey's like,
I'm going to drink this bottle and I'm going to smash it over that guy's head.
Harvey's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Are you such a loser that you don't know when you've won?
Yeah.
You're in Mexico, dumbass.
And George takes offense and says, you say that to me again. And he does, except I think he leaves the dumbass out. But
I don't think he said dumbass, but I'm just saying.
He may have dropped a net bomb. So next.
What happens next?
The star of the show comes out, Karen. Salma Hayek, right?
Yep.
Does a little dance with a snake.
Mistress of the macabre, the most sinister woman in the world.
Yes, and her character's name is Santanaco Pandorium, something like that. And did you know that she has a real fear of snakes, or she did, up until this film?
Oh, wow.
And she spent 2 months in therapy prior to filming so she could do this scene.
Well, it's quite the scene.
Yes. And there was also no choreography for her. They just told her, just go with it. Just feel the music and do what you want. So that's what she did.
Writhe with the music.
Or dance.
She does. It is. I just wrote, Selma does a dance with a snake. Because that's a very long, well, not very long. She's good. I mean, it's mesmerizing for everyone watching at home and everyone watching in the bar.
And she pours whiskey or something over her foot, right?
From her knee, her knee.
Into Quentin Tarantino's mouth, which is more of his barefoot thing.
Oh, did you see John Bon Jovi in the audience?
No.
He's not really in the audience, but somebody with his big hair and those round sunglasses. Do you remember he used to wear those?
Yeah.
They showed it a couple times. At first I'm like, I'm not going to write it. And then they showed him like 3 times. So yeah.
And here's where I made a note. It's a good soundtrack.
It is.
So even the music they're playing while she's dancing, I dig it, even though it's by that house band, which is actually a real band, but they play the house band there. Know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tito and the Tarantula. That's the name of the house band.
No, it was all good. The music was good. But she's definitely focused on Quentin. She's picked him out of the crowd.
So she does her dance and everyone applauds. And I think George says, that's the greatest show ever, or something like that. And then we hear Stevie Ray Vaughan, Willie and the Wimp. Another good song. And then Cheech comes in.
The doorman. Yeah. So he's recovered from his injuries from them.
Yeah. His character at this point is named Chet Pussy, Karen.
That's not surprising. So he comes in seeking revenge, basically.
Yes. And the fight ensues.
All hell breaks loose.
Yes. And they shoot a bunch of bullets into Cheech, a lot more than their guns will hold. It's pretty sure. But again, I think that's a Rodriguez thing, though. Robert Rodriguez. I think that's one of his things. They always fire 7 shots in a 6. Gun holds 6, they fire 7. That's just one of his things.
Well, yeah. And then Quentin's hand.
It starts dripping blood.
Well, you know what? Because it's knifed.
Yes.
Somebody knifes his hand.
There's just so much. I didn't make a note of everything going on, but yes. There's a big fight. And
the only reason that's important. So someone knifes his duct tape hand to the table.
Yeah, stabs
and it just
into the table.
Yes, stabs. That's the right word. And blood just starts dripping off of it. And he pulls out the knife and his hand is dripping blood. And that gets Salma's attention.
Yeah,
she likes that.
Yeah, she turns.
Yep. And
Katie tries to warn.
I know. I
Richie.
noticed that too. Yeah. She says, Richie, look out. But
it's too late.
Too late. She bites him.
And then they all start turning into vampires.
Yeah. Everybody they had shot just sits back up. Like everybody's coming back alive into vampires.
Everybody who works there at this place is a vampire.
And it's a feeding frenzy, man.
It is. A lot of the patrons are not vampires, and they all get devoured.
Yeah, heads are flying everywhere. Right. Heads are just decapitated. Heads are flying everywhere. Kate has to shove. She was wearing a cross. She shoved it.
Cheech. It's Chet Pussy, played by Cheech Marin.
Yes.
Comes at Kate, and she happens to have a cross necklace on her person, and she shoves it down his throat, right?
Yeah.
And he explodes.
And the sex machine's killing lots of vampires.
Well, so is Frost, I don't know if they ever say his name, but it's Frost.
I just called him the Vietnam guy. Yeah. But yeah.
Fred Williamson. His character's name is Frost, and him and Tom Savini
they're taking out significant
they're taking
numbers
out
of
bunches of them, yeah.
Which is
pool cues and whatever.
Yeah, table legs and chair leg. It's crazy. I mean, it's like they've done it before or something. Like, oh, here we go again. We got to kill all the vamps in here. I don't know. They just seemed very calm, cool, and collected about it. Like, okay, we're just going to start doing this,
Yes. And then Salma tells George she is going to make him her slave. She's going to bite him, but she's not going to drain him. He's going to be her slave.
Right.
And she just happens to be standing under a chandelier. So he shoots the chandelier and it falls down on her and impales her. And she gone.
So was she was on top of him, right?
Yes.
So she wasn't standing. She was lying down.
She was standing.
She was. She had her foot on him or something.
Foot on him, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so why did that kill her? Did it stake her somehow?
Yeah, impaled her. I'm sure it's wooden chandelier.
I thought it was silver or something. That's why it made her explode. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. But yeah, she's gone. So, and then there's basically a rumble of 4 girls and 4 guys that are left, and the guys win.
Well, apparently Frost is a karate man, and he pulls the heart from one of the vampires.
Yeah, that was kind of gross. But that didn't kill him until they stuck a pencil in it.
Yeah, and then Tom Savini stabbed it with a pencil. Yeah. So they kill all the vampires.
Well, all the vampires start to burn. Yeah, for some reason, right?
They go to the door, but it is barred and they can't get out. And then George finds Richie and starts talking to him. He basically apologizing for not keeping him safe or whatever. And he turns.
Yeah, it's a tender moment. Quentin turns.
Yes.
Yeah. Into a vampire.
And then Tom Savini goes to kill Richie, but George stops him for some reason. I don't know. Because then George tells the others to hold Richie. And George pounds a pool cue through his chest. So he kills him himself. Maybe that's why.
I think at first he thought he might be redeemable, but then he turns right in front of him. Because he kind of went back to a more normal face for a second, and then he went to the turned face. But I don't like how these vampires look.
Well, they're all different.
They look like sea creatures, though, or something.
But they're all
to
different.
Me.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
They all get that. They look like they're not the handsome vampires, let's just say.
Right.
They all get that kind of scaly alien look or something. I don't know. It's not my type of vampire.
Right. And I originally thought that Tom Savini did the special effects makeup too, as well as acting, but apparently he did not.
Maybe he just wanted to act.
Maybe.
He was fine. I mean, you know.
Yeah, Tom Savini was fine. The makeup department, they have more makeup artists than actors. So,
well, I can see that.
But Tom Savini is not one of them. So Robert Kurtzman was the makeup effects supervisor. So he's well known for that shit. But I mean, it wasn't bad. Yeah, it's different. Like even Salma like turned him like almost like a snake like.
Yeah, I don't like those effects.
Okay.
But see, you're an only, so you don't have a sibling. But I don't think I could stake my sibling. I think I would have let other people do it. I don't think I could have done it. Now later, what Kate has to do, I could have probably done that, but I don't think I could stake my sibling. Not if there were other people around who could do it. So there you go. My siblings are listening. I'm not going to stake you. Somebody else will have to do it. It's so hard to know because it's life or death. If they're on top of you about to kill you, then maybe you could, but he had switched back and forth. And there were other people there who were available to do it.
As you said, I have no siblings, but me and, John, my son, right? We've all met John, right? He's been on the podcast, but we have talked about it, like when The Walking Dead was a big thing. We discussed all this.
That does not surprise me. And I also know that you would not have any problem shooting each other's heads off, probably. Would be my guess.
Yeah, we would do what we had to do. So next,
no,
a bunch of
no
bats.
remorse.
Well, I didn't say that. Gotta do what you gotta do.
No hesitation. Sorry.
Yeah. Next, a bunch of bats arrive outside the bar.
They hear the wings flapping. Yeah.
Yes. And then a legless vampire grabs Kate, and Tom Savini puts a stake through his heart. And then they decide to stake all the other people who were bitten, so before they turn, right?
Right. Which is a good plan.
Right.
Which the sex machine and what was his name? Frost or whatever.
Yes.
Seemed to be, like I said, exceedingly good at it. And Kate has some trouble. She
hesitates.
Yeah. She hesitates. And then he wakes up and she does it. But
he was kind of cute, right? The blonde guy.
I mean, he looked normal, but then he turned.
Yeah. But Kate does. Once the guy turns, she stabs him.
And then
Tom Savini gets bit on the arm, but he puts a jacket on so no one will see it. And then they start talking about crosses.
Well, George kind of takes charge. He's like, okay, we're dealing with vampires.
Yes.
I don't believe him,
but I've seen them.
Yeah. So what do we know about vampires? And they kind of go over.
Anybody read a book?
Right. Not just the movie shit.
No, a real book.
Has anybody read an actual book? Which turns out no, but they do the usual stuff. Crosses, holy water, stakes to the
Anybody
heart.
got a cross? And someone says no. And then I can think it's Scott. The kid says, well, we can fashion a cross out of anything. And somebody says, Peter Cushing does it all the time.
Right. That was a good one.
Who was in the movie we did, Horror of Dracula, correct, Karen?
Yes.
Yes. And I think that's even in the x-ray, it said that is a reference to Horror of Dracula. But then George tells the others that Harvey was a preacher, but lost his faith. And Harvey punches George right in the mouth.
Right in the kisser.
George wants Harvey to become a servant of God again so he can bless the water and make it holy water. Correct?
Yes.
And next this is where we learn that Frost is a Vietnam veteran because he talks about the situation where he was the sole survivor and whatever.
Yeah, he's telling the story, which is basically they're all standing there listening while Savini, is that his name? Mm-hmm. Starts to turn.
And as Frost tells the story, Tom Savini turns. Tom Savini comes up and bites Frost.
I thought that was kind of a dick move. They were fighting together, but I guess once you're a vamp, you don't have those feelings anymore.
Nope. And then he bites Harvey.
Yeah, that was a bummer too.
Harvey Keitel. So Frost throws Tom Savini through the door, which lets all the bats in.
Yeah.
And then Frost turns So you think he did that on purpose?
I don't know. I couldn't tell because of all the places to throw him, why throw him there?
I know. As soon as the bats come in, he turns. Right.
Yeah,
It seemed very
it's
convenient to me.
right.
He turned a lot quicker than everyone else, though, if that is the case.
It's true. He did turn extremely quickly.
So then George and the kids find a tunnel.
Looks like catacombs or something, but they end up in a room.
Yeah, a room which has a lot of the cargo that they assume the vampires have collected from all the truck drivers and things or people that have come by and they've taken.
Yeah, if your Amazon package doesn't show up, that's where it is, right? I mean, it's all the truckers' cargo. You're right.
Yes. And then Harvey forms a cross from a gun and a piece of wood.
Well, so Harvey's left in the bar because he got bitten. George basically thinks he's dead. So the kids and George are in this room and we don't know where Harvey is. And then the next scene, we see Harvey's behind the bar, but all the vampires are out there. I mean, hundreds of them basically.
Yeah, so, but he's got like a pump shotgun, which has a pistol grip on it and another piece of wood. And he's formed a cross out of them.
I think it's a baseball bat.
Yeah, and he's made it so that he can pump the shotgun with the other piece of wood, which is pretty cool. Harvey makes his way down the tunnel to where George and his kids are. So they let Harvey in.
Yeah, he pounds on the door. Let me in, let me in. They open it.
And they search the crates of shipments.
But he tells them he's bit.
Yes, they come up with weapons and whatnot to combat the vampires. Like George attaches a stake to like a jackhammer or some shit, a wooden stake to a jackhammer.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what he did, but yeah.
And they fill condoms and squirt guns with holy water that Harvey blesses because he's found God again.
Harvey carves crosses into the bullets that he has.
Yeah.
And Kate has a bow with arrows. Yeah, crossbow.
And Harvey makes his kids swear to God that they will kill him.
When he turns, yeah.
Yeah.
And at first they say, yeah, sure, Dad. And then he makes them do it again, where he threatens to kill himself if they don't say they're going to do it right when it happens. So
they go through the door and I wrote there's a stare down.
But before we
between
do this,
them and the vampires.
Right. How many vampires do you think are out there?
30, 50.
There's at least 50. Do you think they have enough ammunition? It just seemed to me like
that Scott kid's got like a whole bunch of condoms around his neck on like a string or something. And he's got a squirt gun full of holy water and Kate's got a whole bunch of arrows. And
I didn't see all the extra arrows but I mean, you've got to reload. I don't know. I just said they are woefully unprepared, but they do okay, as we'll find out.
Yes. And then they start killing the vampires with their weapons.
And Kate's an amazing shot.
For I don't know who's never shot a crossbow, probably.
I'm assuming she's never shot a crossbow. I don't know, but she is killer with this thing.
Yes.
Literally killer.
And George decapitates Tom Savini with his whip, which is pretty cool. And Kate puts an arrow right through his eye. But then Tom Savini turns into, I wrote some kind of rat creature, but I guess technically it was a vampire dog.
Oh, I don't know why that happened. That was weird.
That's what the X-ray said.
Because he's decapitated. I guess his heart isn't pierced, so he can still keep going.
Yes.
Okay.
But then Kate eventually ends up shooting it with an arrow too. So he gone.
That's right. So who's he got pinned down? George. And Kate whistles. George looks and then, holds up I thought it was a rat too. And she shoots it.
Yeah. Then Harvey impales Frost with his gun. And as he does, he's like shooting other vampires with the gun.
Yeah, that was pretty gruesome.
And then Harvey starts to turn.
Yeah, it's sad.
And Harvey bites Scott, his own.
I know. I was so surprised to see. I mean, I remember the first time I saw it, which might have even been in a movie theater.
Which I never asked you. So you've seen it before?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Okay.
And I think in a theater, but I'm not 100% sure. But when first, the fact that Harvey's actually bitten, you think they're all going to make it. That's usually how these things go. Not maybe in these in Tarantino films, but in general, you think everybody's going to walk out.
The
right?
original story, they all did make it.
Oh, okay.
The original draft, they all did, but he changed it because.
But the fact that in the script he bites his own son, I was like, oh God.
Yeah, it's much better, probably.
I guess it's more heart wrenching. That's for sure.
And then Scott hits Harvey with holy water, and half his head disintegrates, and then he blows his head off with a gun, right?
Yeah.
Shoots his dad in the head. And then Scott's eaten.
Well, they get him, and there's like 6 or 8 vampires just going at him, and
devouring him.
He's looking at his sister and says, "Kill me, Kate. Just kill me."
She does, along with all the other vampires on it.
Right.
And then light starts streaming in, Karen, through holes in the walls and things in the bar. So it must be
So it's down to George and Kate. That's who's left with all these vampires in the room. Yeah. And then dawn is coming. And George says, shoot more holes, shoot more holes.
Yes, and they do. And Carlos arrives and shoots the door down.
That's George's contact. Yes.
Yeah. But it just occurred to me, didn't they already like bust the door down when they threw the dude through it? So shouldn't the door be open?
I'm not sure that was the door to the actual outside, or if it was the door to another part of the bar. I couldn't tell.
Okay.
But yeah, they say, shoot the door, break the door down. But you're right, it could be.
Yeah. And the sunlight comes streaming in and it hits the disco ball.
And that's my favorite moment.
When the sunlight reflects off the disco ball.
And it just goes everywhere.
Vampires start exploding.
Yeah. I thought that's a nice creative touch right there. The disco ball.
So then they're outside and George explains to Carlos, who is Cheech again.
Right.
That the bar was full of vampires, and they argue, and couldn't you find a better place? What the hell, man? What's your deal? And basically they agree on a 25% of the loot instead of 30 to stay.
Well, he says it, it's in the middle of nowhere, no cops. And what's the difference between one place and another? Well, apparently a lot, but yeah, they renegotiate.
And George tells Kate he is sorry. And she is sorry too. And George gives Kate a stack of money. And she wants to go with him to Del Rey, right?
She asks if he wants company.
Yes. George tells Kate, go home. That's what he tells her.
Yeah, he says, I'm a bastard, but I'm not that much of a bastard.
Yeah, even though she got no mom, no dad, no brother, no nothing. George wants her to go home.
I wonder how old she was supposed to be.
I don't know.
She could be pretty close to 18.
Probably was. It was Juliette Lewis, the actress that played. She's been in many things. Yeah,
she's a famous actress for sure. She leaves in the Winnebago.
Yeah. George drives off to El Rey following Carlos in the Porsche.
Which was part of their deal, apparently.
Yes. And Kate leaves in the RV.
Oh, yeah. The Winnebago, the RV.
And then we pan out from the rear of the bar, Karen, and see.
We do like a pullback. Yeah.
It's a part of it, the top of an Aztec pyramid.
Yeah. This shot, when I first saw this movie, I think I gasped. I was like, oh, that is extremely clever. It was impressive, I thought, when you pulled back, and it's a big pit behind it, and there's trucks and skeletons and all kinds. You can see where they've hidden everything. Although I guess if you just looked at it, you could see it, but everything is off the back, and it's an Aztec. I call it a temple, but the pyramids with the steps down. I thought that was awesome. Plus sequel.
And then we have credits as a ZZ Top song is playing.
And scene.
All right, Karen, what'd you think? Anything you were pleasantly surprised by? Anything you liked in particular?
It's a good movie. I liked it. I particularly liked the disco ball. It kind of felt like, I don't know if it felt like to you, kind of like two movies. I guess they needed them to bond with the family or something, but I don't know, the first part of the movie seemed almost separate than the second part to me, because you could have almost just had him walk in the bar.
Yes.
I mean, I get it. I get it. You have to have a reason to go in there and all of those things. But really,
it's kind of like Family Guy, where the show starts as one thing and ends up being something completely different.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch Family Guy.
That's the way it is. Yeah.
It seems like you could have shortened the movie, because all of the action to me and stuff happens in the bar. That's where all the shocks
Well, there's
are.
a lot of action prior to that, though. There's a lot of gun
but you could have
and
you could have taken out. They didn't have to have Gloria. They didn't have to have, like, there was just all this extra stuff. They could have just started.
It has a long wick. This is the way I thought about it. Right?
It does, yeah. But it just
a little bit of a slow burn, but
I could have cut out.
Oh my God, I laughed. I caught myself laughing several times throughout this movie. George Clooney was great. I thought he was great in this film. And I think this was his first film,
Was he on ER at the time?
he was on ER. And I think this was his first film.
I like George Clooney.
Well, I like him in this.
He has that likableness about him, even when he's a piece of shit like that. There's just something about him when you're Gloria and you're in the room and you're listening and you say you kind of believe it, or when he's just talking with Harvey when they're driving along, even though he's an asshole, you kind of still like him. I don't know. He's got that charisma or something around him that makes people like him. It's believable in the movie that she would want to go with him at the end, because he's just got that.
Yeah, this was his first major Hollywood role.
I like George Clooney. I liked all the actors in
Again,
it.
I like him in this.
So
I keep seeing this referred to as a horror comedy too. Lots of places.
Well, yeah, there are
researching it.
Lots of scenes.
This one said horror, comedy, crime, drama. So that's lots of things. Anything else you enjoyed?
I will say I was surprised the first time I saw it, that the vampires were, when they all turned in the bar. I had no idea that was going to happen. I didn't know anything about the movie when I saw it. I wasn't prepared for that. And that was a good twist. And certainly the pullback at the end where you see it's an Aztec temple I remembered that shot, after the first time I saw it. It made such an impression on me. I mean, there was enough humor in it to cut through the gore. It's well-placed humor. It takes you to a certain place where it's getting all crazy, and then there's something humorous and it brings you back down. So it's a good ride, I think.
Yeah, I found myself laughing at George Clooney, like I said, several times. And it wasn't George Clooney, things he was saying, I thought was hilarious.
So you liked it?
Yeah, I did. And it's funny because I just watched it right before pretty much we started recording. And I put it off. And I'm like, oh God, I gotta watch this movie. And then I was like, I thoroughly enjoyed it once I started watching it.
Well, it was your pick.
I know.
I guess I was the same. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I've seen it before. So I guess I just didn't remember how good it was.
Yeah, I saw it like much later than you, because I saw it. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was on cable. So I'm sure a lot of shit was cut out,
Well, if it was on TV, a lot of it was cut out.
A lot of the language, I'm sure, was cut out. I mean, it could have been on a movie channel or something. I don't know. But still, anything you were very disappointed in?
I wasn't very disappointed in anything. Like I said, I think it was a little long. I think it was a little incongruent, the first and the second part. The first part could have been a little shorter. I think I understand what they were doing, establishing the brothers' relationship, making sure you knew Quentin was a loose cannon, showing the pastor had no faith.
Seeing it the second time or whatever, now I knew that was in it, all that early stuff, but it went a lot quicker, it seemed to me this time watching it, than I expected it would. I thought it would be longer, but it wasn't to me.
Oh God, no. It just seemed like there's a complete movie from the moment they walk in the bar until the end. Like that could almost be a complete movie with a little bit in the front of who they are. And so I get it. I think I don't hate that they did that. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie, but it just seemed like two different movies to me. Like it could have been a lot shorter, but I liked it. There was just a lot of Quentin's a loose cannon. Like you didn't need the bank teller hostage. You didn't need that. You didn't need him to kill her. You could see once he blew up the sheriff and poor Pete in the liquor store. That was his name, right? Pete.
Mm.
Once you've seen that, do you really need to see more? You kind of know.
Yeah, but it does tell you, like later when he's dealing with Kate, you know his background. You know that he would rape her and kill her in a second if he had the chance.
Yeah, but you kind of know that when he blows off the cop's head.
He's a rapist when he does that.
No, but I guess. But I mean, like I said, it's fine. I get it. I just think it could have been. It was a long movie to me.
Well, I don't think it was at all. Knowing what he did before brought more tension to when all the scenes with him and Kate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Anything else you were disappointed in?
I mean, it was gory, but that's part of the gig. So
not really.
I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in that. Okay, implied gore. I don't like those movies as much, but it's fine. It's a good movie. It's just me personally, I don't like the gore as much, but it definitely played well. It's necessary in the movie. That's kind of what the movie is. If you cut that out, there wouldn't be a movie. So I get it. But I mean, I physically jumped or cried out when he shot the cop in the back of the head, or the knife went through his hand onto the table. I was like, whoa, because I wasn't expecting it.
All right. What kind of cocktail rating are we giving this one? How many cocktails?
I don't know. That's tough.
What do you to get through it?
What do you think?
I don't know. It's tough. What do you think?
It might be a 2.
Okay.
I think it's.
I agree.
I mean, I'd give it a 2 or a 3, whatever you wanted. We don't do halves. I'd give it a 2.5. I don't think it's. 2. I think it's better than a lot of the movies that we've given 3s to.
I was entertained.
And there were real relationships established and real conflicts that needed to be resolved. And, when you have to shoot your own brother or kill your own father, or, those are complex relationships to deal with. You're not just fighting your way out and killing anything that moves. You're killing people who you care about. That's a different level of a movie, I think.
Yep. What did you think of our cocktail, Karen? Our bloody sunrise.
It's good. I added a little more orange juice.
I didn't.
I know you added a little more tequila, I would guess.
No, I didn't add any more tequila either. I might have added a little more orange juice too, because I spilled it. So I think I added more.
Oh, it's tasty.
Yeah, it's good. Anything we learned today, Karen?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh, well, the Cougar.
The 1968 Mercury Cougar RX. You got one right.
Well, not in today's market. I don't know. Did we learn anything else? I mean, there's vampire lore, but we already kind of.
Yeah, and I talked about Tarantino's trademark things that were in it, but
true.
Other than that.
So Bare Feet, we need to watch for Bare Feet.
The music was good.
True. The soundtrack is good. Can you pull up the soundtrack and what are the actual songs on it? It's an excellent soundtrack. It goes very well with the movie.
We have Dark Night performed by the Blasters, Mexican Blackbird performed by ZZ Top, Texas Funeral performed by John J.O.N. Wayne, Foolish Heart performed by the Mavericks, Dengue. How do you say that, Karen?
Dang. Dang. Is Stevie Ray Vaughan on there?
Yeah, this one is a Jimmy Vaughan. This Dang Women Blues is a Jimmy Vaughan. And then you have Torquay performed by the Leftovers. Then you have She's Just Killing Me, which was the song that they played during the closing credits by ZZ Top. And then there's Angry Cockroaches performed by Tito and the Tarantula, which must have been the song they played in the bar. Mary Had a Little Lamb by Stevie Ray Vaughan. After
So
Dark, Tito and
is
the
that
Tarantula, Willie the Wimp, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
so a good soundtrack? Is that a Quentin Tarantino thing? Because a lot of his movies have excellent soundtracks.
I would say so.
And neither one of us mentioned that when all hell breaks loose and the band is still playing, when they turn into vampires, they're playing a dead body with strings on it. Which, how would you even plug that in to make any noise? But whatever. They're playing like is it a bass? That's basically a dead person. It was weird.
It's a guitar, but yeah. All right, Karen. Next film's your choice.
You're going to love it.
Oh, am I?
No.
Okay.
You ready?
Go on. Yes.
It's the 1958 film, The Blob.
The Blob. Why did you pick this film, Karen?
Because I've never seen it. And it's got Steve McQueen in it. So I figured, and it's another one of those movies that's a classic that I think should be in my repertoire. I think I should have seen it by now.
You have a drink?
You're going to be even madder at this one.
Okay. Go on.
We're going to make Jello shots.
Oh my God.
Because it's a blob.
All right.
One of the reasons I picked it, I was looking up like Halloween parties and stuff. And the most requested cocktail recipe for Halloween in Ohio is the Jello shots because they're putting them in syringes now. I thought, okay, I'm going to go with that. So you're going to boil 1 cup of water on the stovetop, pour a 3-ounce box of gelatin mix into a mixing bowl, pour boiling water over the Jello and whisk until the Jello is completely dissolved. Add vodka and cold water, 1/2 cup each, to the mixing bowl. Whisk to combine everything together. And then you dole them out into 2-ounce plastic cups, or you can just kind of put it in a bowl and scoop it out into one big old cup. You can put whipped cream on it if you want.
So it's basically Jello and vodka, then you're telling me.
Well, yeah, 1/2 water, 1/2 vodka. Yeah. It looks like you're taking half the water out and putting vodka in it.
Okay.
So you're making a blob. Yep, that's what we're doing.
All right. Anyone you need to thank, Karen?
We should thank Stacy for leaving us a great review on Apple Podcasts. Thanks, Stacy.
Thanks, Stacy. You're the bestest.
You are. Because reviews really help us build the podcast audience.
Anything else, Karen?
Well, you need to thank Verse 13.
Yes, I do need to thank Verse 13 for letting us use their music in the podcasts.
We really do appreciate it.
Their info is linked in the show notes. Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Hey, it's Karen, and I'm here to talk to you about getting social with us. Did you know you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast? Or check out our website, scaryspirits.com. If you have something to say, email us at info@scaryspirits.com. And as always, thanks so much for listening. Please drink responsibly.